Good morning, good morning. Black in Japan, what's going on with you? Y'all got in here quick. I thought I was gonna have time to get moving. Thank you for the thumbs up on the video. Thank you for the thumbs up in the video. As you can see by the title, Toxic Benevolence. It's a concept that I was just toying with in my mind this morning. And I saw that nobody else was on live, so I figured, hey, might as well go on live myself. Maybe I could build with the people. Bentley 3805. Salute to you. I'm just leaving work right now. It's freezing cold. Well, I wouldn't say freezing cold. It's been colder. Is my voice coming in loud and clear? If I'm missing some of y'all dialogue, I apologize, because the dialogue is coming in pretty fast, and I'm streaming from my phone, so the actual capacity for messages is very small. I can only have 2 messages on the screen at one time, unless I actually touch the screen, then I can kind of see everything. So when I'm stopped, Shantastic, hey Shantastic, we need to build. You saw the message I sent you earlier. We definitely need to build. Soft-spoken Hensai. This is the first time I'm seeing you, I believe. Welcome. Glad to have you here this morning. So since we got everybody in here so far, I'm going to talk a little bit about toxic benevolence. And as I was saying a little bit earlier, it's a concept that I was toying with in my mind this morning, just maybe like 45 minutes ago. I was wrapping up at work, and right now I'm leaving the hospital. I'm ready to get on the road, but I thought I would speak of it, talk about it a little bit. I may be leaving my job and taking my skills abroad sometime next year. I may actually be looking at some international endeavors that may be on the horizon for me. But when we talk about toxic benevolence, what does it mean to be toxically benevolent? It's like an oxymoron. Those two terms are kind of polar opposites of each other. When we think of toxicity, we think of something that's not good for us. We think of harmful substances that alter the harmony within our own bodies. That's generally what we think of when we hear the term toxic. And when we think of benevolent, we think of good intentions. We think of things that are beneficial. Hold on, I'm about to get out of this garage. So sometimes when we, in our attempts to be benevolent, sometimes becomes toxic. Like all things, there's a certain degree of moderation that is needed. And what kind of made me think about this was a stream, or maybe it was a pre-recorded video that was done by a YouTuber by the name of Torian Rain Reloaded. Torian Rain Reloaded has a pretty nice size following. He puts out very good content. If you haven't checked out his page, please do so. Torian Rain Reloaded. I may have to put his link in the description once I'm finished with this stream. But in the stream that he did, or video, he spoke of an actress, a Hispanic actress. I don't want to go back in and repeat her name. I don't want to rehash too much, because who she is really isn't important. It's the underlying concept that I think has relevance. This particular Latina actress spoke of some of the ills of Hollywood. In particular, she mentioned the actual pay disparity between different demographics of actresses. She stated the concentration gradient flowed from individuals of Caucasian descent and somehow it jumps from Caucasian to African American. And African Americans are paid more. They're paid less than Caucasians, but they're paid more than Hispanics. And I'm not sure exactly where she said the Asian actresses fell within the continuum, but she did mention that there was indeed a disparity with the actual salaries of the actresses depending on their ethnic affiliation. And it's hard to actually quantify an actress's worth unless you evaluate the response of the consumer in that actress's or actor's absence. In other words, you can't gauge the reaction of fans and whether or not that person is missed unless you get rid of them. So how can we accurately quantify the contribution of an actress or an actor to a particular series or movie? It's very hard to do. We can look at the actual social media presence and how well they resonate with people in that respective continuum, but social media is a little bit different from Hollywood, even though there are some parallels and there are some overlays of the two. They are very different. The actual actress and actors are actually paid directly for their services, what they provide to the movie or series that they're starring in, whereas social media, you're left to your own devices. You actually utilize your social media presence to open up other opportunities as opposed to actually being paid from social media itself. There are some exceptions to the rule, but those are exceptions, not necessarily the rule. So then it's asked, how do we gauge how actresses and actors are compensated for their work? Because most actresses and actors aren't necessarily independent. They're employed by a production company, and they're paid for a particular role in a movie or series. And it's up to that production company to determine the actual wages for that actor. Sometimes actresses and actors command a higher salary because of their resume. And their name alone attracts people to the box office. Because of who they are, they're almost guaranteed to generate revenue. People will be attracted to them, not necessarily because of the role they're playing, but because of the actress or actor themselves. That can somewhat be quantified when you look at their past work and how well it did. But then again, there's so many contributing factors to that. There's the actual direction, and there's the actual production, and then there's the actual screenwriting. So those play a key role. So how that translates into the workforce is that there's some occupations that implement unions to ensure equality and fairness, to hold the employers accountable to their employees, to formulate a united front to have leverage and bargaining power. But in order to have that leverage and bargaining power, you have to bring people to the table. You have to give them some sort of assurance. Hey, if you join this union, we'll advocate for you. We'll fight for your rights. We'll be sure that you're treated fairly in the workplace. There won't be an unwarranted elimination of your position or termination of your employment. We'll ensure that you'll be compensated fairly for your contributions to the organization. These are some of the virtues of an actual union. But even those virtues are not without cost, because when we look at this attempt to be benevolent, it can't have toxicity because there are marginal employees who benefit from the benevolence of a bargaining body. I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of alerts on my phone. So with that marginal employee, he or she is able to elude discipline because they have the backing of the union. They have legal recourse to a certain extent. And it becomes increasingly difficult for an employer to justify whatever corrective action they wish to place upon that employee. Furthermore, because of the promise of consistency and quote-unquote fairness, quote-unquote equality, stellar individuals may not receive the compensation they deserve, because when we look at the contributions of a stellar employee versus the lack thereof when dealing with a marginal employee, there's a distinct difference. The productivity is different. The affect is different. Customer service is different. Finished product, depending on what the actual organization is, what the actual company this employer employees are working for. Their services can differ because of the motivation of one employee or just the work ethic. So for a stellar employee looking to receive compensation commensurate with his contributions to the organization, he may not find it because that organization is attempting to be benevolent across the board. Suffice it to say, it's impossible to be fair to everyone, because in your attempt to be fair to everyone, you're bound to be unfair to someone, because you're treating everyone equally when their contributions are not equal. Their productivity is not equal. So what do you do in that situation? Well, we've seen examples of that in the past, where people were not hired based off of superficial characteristics, because of an ethnic affiliation, because of a phenotype, because of a gender. Their actual skill set was disregarded. This is why affirmative action was implemented, because people wanted assurances that, as a great man Martin Luther King once said, they want to be judged based on the content of their character. But without certain fair hiring practices in place, there's no assurances of that. You're almost assured that there will be unfairness in hiring practices. So what do? A frog box is in the building, I see you. Head above water, I see you. See all your reality, I see you. Bentley 3805 in the gym, I can respect that. I can definitely respect that. So that's my question to you guys. What do you do in this situation? Do you attempt to please the masses and strive for equality? Or do you compensate based on individual merits? How can we assure the individual responsible for determining compensation is fair himself or herself? You can't. There's no guarantees in life. CRU, I treat on an individual basis. But CRU, do you not have bias? I think we all do it to a certain extent. What happens when you encounter somebody that looks like you and somebody that doesn't? Both individuals have great work ethic. Both individuals are pleasant to be around. They motivate individuals in their presence. They have high levels of productivity. They have pride in their work. How do you determine which one makes it and which one doesn't? If you have to make a choice. See, that's where it gets tricky. That's where bias comes into play. What do you do, CRU? It's bust all over the line. Come on now. What do you do? I think that just the mentality, especially the tide of the times, that the direction that we're going in now, where everybody is equal. Everybody's a winner. We give 8th place, 9th place, 10th place trophies. This doesn't encourage excellence. It really doesn't, because there has to be losers if there are to be winners. Everybody can't win. That's the concept of winning. That you triumphed over your opposition and adversaries. You've triumphed over the competition. But if everybody won, where's the triumph? There is none. We have to get to the point as a society where we accept the fact that not everybody will win. We have to champion those who excel. And we have to relieve ourselves of those who are inferior. Because everybody can't win. Everybody can't be saved. And when we talk about the age of Aquarius that is not upon us, the age of Aquarius that is here now and is manifesting itself in our society as we speak, being marginal will no longer be an option. Not when there's a machine that can take your place. Not when there are enhanced humans that are twice as productive as you are. We are ill for the age of Aquarius. We've been softened as a society. And when certain things pertaining to technology come into fruition, the individuals who have not applied themselves will be a lost cause. They'll be a burden on society. A burden that the remaining individuals will have to bear. I'm driving right now. I can't really read comments. It's not that I'm ignoring you guys, but I owe it to the people around me to drive safely. But I want to personally thank everybody for joining me on this stream. individuals that I did see in there. CRU Reality, I see you in the building. Shantastic, I see you in the building. Shantastic, we're gonna have to talk. We have to set this up. What I was discussing with you, I really wasn't discussing with you, but I sent you a message about it last night or early this morning. I'm not sure exactly what time it was. I have a concept in my head, and you know, what really jogged my, actually inspired me was that I was looking over the video that we did, and your actual mentions when I asked you what exactly it was that you wanted me to put, if anything, inside the description of the video, with reference to contacting you or following you. And I'll let you think about that, what you said in your mentions, what you indicated you wanted in your mentions. And I think we should expound on that. Definitely should expound on that. CRU Reality, if you guys haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you do so. CRU Reality made a stream late last night, actually early this morning. CRU, I did catch your stream. I caught it live. That was the video where you were, actually it was a recording of someone else, and they were speaking of, actually, now that I think about it, that's an example of toxic benevolence. CRU, that stream that you did last night, that's an example of toxic benevolence, because you have individuals within the collective, we'll just put it like that, who in attempts to be fair compromise themselves. That's what that man was talking about. That's toxic benevolence. People who are inconsiderate of you, people who are indifferent to you. They can care less whether you live or die, but you're going out of your way to appease them and to make society as a whole treat them fairly, because you feel as though if they're oppressed just like you are. But that's toxic benevolence, because at the end of the day, you're doing harm to yourself because your energies are improperly focused. A similar concept to the reason why men are going MGTOW. They have grown tired and weary of demographics of women who don't have their best interests in mind, who seek only to please themselves. Men have been toxically benevolent for far too long. Now they're beginning to wake up, go their own way, put themselves first. Hello, Keisha. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you, Keisha. I try to remember people who come in my chat. I don't think I've seen you before, but I appreciate you being here. You're always welcome. I'm on my phone right now. If I wasn't on my phone, I open up the panel for some of y'all to come in and join me. Because I have my opinions, I have my perspectives, but I'm always open to critique. And no, that's not me being toxically benevolent. That's just me wanting to grow. And I can't grow if I'm not challenged. And I enjoy being challenged. Some people have panels and won't even let you speak because they don't want to be challenged. They don't want to be usurped of their power. Let me look at these messages while I'm stopped for a second. Hold on, CRU Reality. You wrote a lot. I'm gonna have to wait till I'm stopped. I'm almost at home. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna read some of these chats that you guys are putting up in here. I appreciate the interaction. I like the feedback. I enjoy it. As I said, I don't mind being challenged. So in my chat room, if you don't agree with me, just say you don't agree with me and tell me why. I won't take it personal. Because I'm not always right. And I never claim to be always right. I like to think that I'm right most of the time, but I can be wrong. Sometimes I need to be checked. Okay. I'm almost here. I'm about to pull into my parking space and we're gonna take a look at these chats. Okay. Let's see these chats here. Okay. Sheep Stay Sleep TV. What's good with you? Welcome. Good morning. You may have to catch a lot of what I said on a rebroadcast because I said a lot. I was just running my mouth this morning. Dave Tao, what's good with you? Good to see you again. CRU Reality, I'm a transportation boss. I told my bosses we need to learn drones to stay relevant, and the top bosses brought that up at the meeting. Exactly, CRU. Amazon is already experimenting with drones now. A lot of jobs are going to be eliminated. If you're marginal, you're out of there. It's just that simple. You have to be stellar. You have to actually bring something to the table that other people can't. Okay, let me see here. I'm going through the messages. Make sure I don't miss anything. Your boy Gab got her on tonight's interview. Who is her? CG or NS? Let me know, CRU. CG or NS? I thought I saw something with one of their names on there. I think it might have been CG. And soft-spoken Hensey, again, welcome. Your name doesn't sound familiar. If you've been here before, I apologize, but if this is in fact your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you. Frogbox, what's going on? Frogbox, one of my day ones. I always got to point that out. Don't know how he found me, but he found me. He's been here since day one. Respect to Frogbox. Soft-spoken Hensey, message retracted. If you just made a typographical error, I can understand that, but if you said something that you thought was going to be controversial, I don't mind it. Like I said, I don't mind feedback, even if it's feedback that contradicts what it is that I'm saying. Especially if it contradicts what I'm saying, I want to hear it. Oh, you're in class, but you're watching. Okay, that's what's up. Well, pay attention in class. What are you going to school for, soft-spoken Hensey? Yes, indeed, Sierra. You hit the like buttons. I really appreciate it. Looks like everybody's hitting the like buttons, though. They really hit the like button. I appreciate that. True, HR says the same thing in our meetings. Shaking my head off facts. Hey. Oh, head above water. What's up with you? Yeah, it's all facts, man. I try to keep it 100. You know, if I say something that's not right, it's just an honest mistake, but I don't intentionally try to mislead the people. That's not what I do. Okay, I think I got all those old ones. Okay, let's see where we at now. Okay, the wig party. Okay, that's what I thought it was. I could have sworn I saw like some type of like, you know, when you do a live video, you can like, you know, set the live for a specific time, like a date ahead of time, but it will show up on the feed, even though you're not actually going live at that moment. I think I saw something with that individual on there, but I don't know what is the context of this actual interview. Super Triz, like BGS Ibmore said, the landscape has changed for men and women, and the cuts are coming. Yeah, the cuts are coming in every aspect of humanity. Men that are inferior will be cut out of women's lives. Women that are inferior will be cut out of men's lives. Inferior employees will be cut out of the workforce. Inferior citizens will be outcasts of society. They'll be ostracized. Even more so. As the wealth divide and wealth gap increases, Gab Talk Media. What's going on with you, Gab Talk? I don't know what you caught, but I was talking about toxic benevolence. And just to recap for the individuals that didn't catch the beginning of my stream, toxic benevolence essentially is the toxicity of individuals who attempt to be fair and equal to everyone. In some contexts, it's not appropriate to try to be fair. In some contexts, it's appropriate to be commensurate. That means you compensate commensurate with somebody's contribution. That's not fair, because everybody's not a winner. There's winners, there's losers. And then there's individuals who didn't participate. And there has to be a clear distinction. Because if you don't distinguish between the winners and the losers, what motivation is there to be anything but marginal? There is none. But I won't keep y'all too long. This one's gonna be short and sweet. You may be a little bit toxic myself with benevolence, bro. Sometimes you have to extend an olive branch. We'll just say it like that, to bring people to the table. Right? So there has to be somebody who's going to extend that olive branch. But if you're going to be the person that extends that olive branch, Gab Talk, you got to have somebody in your corner who's going to be objective. You have to have somebody who's going to be objective. And there's people who's willing to do that for you. Sometimes you look in the chat and you'll see somebody doing it for you. They're being objective. I like to try to be objective, not saying I can't use help. Well, in all fairness, Gab Talk, you have a perspective, and it's based on your life experience and your current situation. So that's what gives context to your conversations. I have my own personal perspective as well. So I have a unique context that sets the tone for my conversation with individuals. This is the reason why I encourage people who oppose me to speak up. I have no problem with criticism. I made a stream maybe last week or the week before. It's called Judge Me. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you check it out. Because we've gotten so accustomed to throwing that word around. Don't judge me. Stop hating. But see, we have to understand the difference between judging somebody and critiquing them. Judging someone and scrutinizing them. There's differences between those terms. And what we sorely lack in today's society is scrutiny. This is why you see all that nonsense you see online, social media, music, movies, out in the streets. Because there's no scrutiny. None at all. No one wants to be held accountable. And we have to free ourselves from toxic benevolence if we are to scrutinize people and hold them to a standard. We need standards. Standards set the tone. Without standards, we have chaos. I agree. I agree with that, Gab Talk. They again, it's just an accountability issue. People don't want to be held accountable, especially when they know they're in the wrong. They know that they have inconsistencies, and they don't want to be called out on them. That's all that is. Yeah, standards are necessary. And when we look at our community in the past, just our community, not America as a whole, our particular diaspora, our collective, there was a time when we had standards. Now, that doesn't mean everybody doesn't make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. But we can't ignore these mistakes that people make. We have to acknowledge them if we are to grow. Because if not, the mistakes are bound to repeat themselves, as we see today. There's no accountability. There's no acknowledgement of fallacies and inconsistencies. So we consistently repeat the same mistakes over and over again. Men and women. This is not exclusive to one sex. Everyone. We can do better. But we have to be willing to accept criticism. We have to be willing to scrutinize inferiority. And until we're able to do that, we will continue to stagnate as a people. I'm talking too much now. Thanks again for everybody that joined me. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to Gab Talk Media's channel, but I think everybody in here has. But if you haven't, please do so at this time, because you're missing out. Shantastic. If you haven't subscribed to her channel, please do so at this time. Shantastic. I gave you a wrench in case you want to throw your link in the chat. Sheep Stay Sleep TV. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, please do so at this time. He has great content. CRU Reality. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, please do so at this time. Head Above Water. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, please do so at this time. Great content. Poetic Kales. If you haven't subscribed to her channel, please do so at this time. I'm not sure if she's putting out content, but I'm sure she will at some point in time. You don't want to miss it out. Again, thank you, everyone. I look forward to seeing you guys again. Yeah, thank you as well. Thank you as well, Shantastic. I gotta go to sleep because I gotta go back to work tonight. So I gotta go to sleep so I can wake up to go to the gym. Again, let me say this again. Now, y'all should have already started. Y'all should have already got your memberships yesterday. Now, I know y'all didn't. Y'all slacking. And see, this is where I gotta hold y'all accountable. We gotta have standards. We gotta have scrutiny. Right? Everyone should be doing some sort of physical fitness. I don't care what it is. Start somewhere. And I don't want to hear about, oh, well, I chase kids around all day at my job. That's not exercise. Stop it. Don't sell yourself short. You can do better. And it has nothing to do with aesthetics. It's about health. CRU Royalty, please don't make me put you on blast. Because you know that's not working out. I don't want to hear about I walk to work. Stop it. I cover the entire hospital. My hospital is a couple blocks in length, multiple stories. I walk the entire hospital all night long. Sometimes I count my steps, 20,000 steps. Sometimes a lot more. But that's not exercise to me. That's just work. Because if you consider that your exercise, you're doing the bare minimum. If you did the bare minimum at work, you'd be in a poorhouse. You'd be homeless. You wouldn't be in a house. It doesn't take much. 30 minutes a day, 4 times a week. That's it. And if you have any questions about working out, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, _SuperTriz. Again, look me up on Instagram, _SuperTriz. So the underscore, that little line, SuperTriz. Because there's some other knucklehead that got the SuperTriz name. I don't know how he got that name. Because I made up SuperTriz. Well, I made up the super part on the Triz. Triz was something that was given to me. The super I added in front of it. But some other knucklehead got that name, so that's why I got to have the underscore on the SuperTriz at Instagram. But if you have any questions about physical fitness, hit me up. There's no reason why. There's no reason why you shouldn't be starting some type of routine right now. Today is the day. And on that note, I'm out.